Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to install SU2 on your computer. SU2 is an open source CFD program and I'll be using it for a few of my upcoming videos, so if you want to follow along with those you'll need to download it. My laptop runs Windows, but some things are easier to work with in Linux, so I run VirtualBox, which is open source and lets you run other operating systems from within your current one. I currently have Ubuntu running in VirtualBox, which is what you're currently seeing on the screen here. I'm not going to go through how to download and install VirtualBox since there's already some good comprehensive guides out there. Just a quick note before we get started, I will list the aliases I use in this video down in the video description, so if a command doesn't work for you in the terminal, chances are it's an alias that I've defined to make my life easier. Okay, so first we're going to open up the terminal and I'm just going to resize this, and then we're going to navigate to a directory where we're going to install the program. So here I'm going to go to Documents, and you can see down here that I have SU2. This is the old version. This is 4.0. We're going to install 5.0. And so I'm just going to make the directory SU2 underscore v5. And now you can see that we have SU2 underscore v5. Okay, now we need to go and download the tar file from the SU2 GitHub. So I'm just going to go to a new workspace over here and we'll open up Firefox. And then in here what we're going to type is github.com/SU2code/SU2/releases. And if we go here, we can see that the SU2 version 5.0.0 Raven is the most up-to-date one, and we're going to take the source code tar.gz, left click on it, and I'm just going to save this file, and you can see it's downloading up here, and then we can open that folder up. Okay, now we want to move this file into that directory that we created before, so I'm just going to move this file over to this window, and in here we can cd into the new directory, and then I'm just going to open up the nautilus window here, and there's nothing in it because we just created it, and then we can just drag this over into here, X out of that, so we can see that it is in this directory now in here, and we need to extract all the files into this directory, so we're going to type in tar space -xvzf and then the tar file, and you can use the autocomplete by pressing tab. And if we do this and we press enter, then when we look at what's in this file now, or in this directory, now we can see we have this new directory and that we can also cd into and then see some other files in there. So what's the next step? Well, let's go back over to here and we'll type in github.com/SU2code/SU2/wiki/simple-build. And if we go here, we can see what the next step is. We need to cd into the directory that we put the SU2 folder in, or the actual SU2 folder that we just extracted. And we need to type .-configure. And so if we go back over here, you can see that we're already in the directory. We're in here, and you can actually see that configure executable up here. So we can do .-configure, and that will run the configuration, and it's checking a lot of things, and we just need to hold on for a second. After the configuration, let's see what we need to do next. We'll go back over to here, and we see that we need to type in make. So if we go back over here, we can type in make, and this is going to take a while, so I'm just going to skip ahead. So after 20 minutes of running, you could see that it's done all this stuff up here, and we're left with this, and we can see what we need to do next. So let's go over to here, and we can see that we just did the make, and now we need to do make install. You can also see down here that if you want to use a different number of cores, you can do make -J, and then the number of cores, and then install. I'll just do this up here, and you'll see that if we go over here and I try to just do make install, then I get all of these errors here, cannot do all this stuff. And there's errors, and that's because you will have to run this as administrator, so you can type sudo make install. It'll ask for your password, and so I'll just type in my password, and then everything's running as normal. So that took about 5 minutes. The last time I installed this, I used the amount of cores that I had available on my computer, and it went much faster, so use as many as you can, but this is what you get when it's done installing. And before I go any further, I forgot something to tell you something. If we scroll back up, if we keep scrolling, keep scrolling, and you can see that up here is where we did the configure. And if I scroll down right before we get to where we typed in make, you can see this section right here where it says, based on the input to this configuration, add these lines to your bashrc file. So make a note of these lines here, copy them, and then we can put them into the bashrc file. So how do we get to the bashrc file? Well, let's open up a new terminal, Control-Shift-N, and just type in cd, press enter, and now if you look at the files in here, you'll note, okay, bashrc is not here. It's a hidden file, it has a dot before it, so we can type in lsla, or if you're not doing aliases, ls-la, and if you scroll up, all the way up, then you can see up here that we have .bashrc, and we can open that file, and I'm just going to use nano. So we're going to do nano.bashrc, and that opens up, and I'll just maximize this, that opens up the bashrc file. And if we go down here, you can see I already have these in here for the old version, the SU2 v4, and so I just have to update these with the new ones for the v5. Okay, so here you can see that I've put in the new ones that I copied over from before, and I've just commented out these old ones that I have. And you'll also note that there's one extra one. There's one called SU2 CFD that I added in here that wasn't in the original list that it told me to put in there. And you can see that this one leads to that SU2 folder and then into SU2 CFD and the bin. And that's because that just makes it easier to run the shortcut of SU2 CFD. So if I go back to the other one, we can open up a new terminal here. And if I look in here, you can see here there's the SU2 CFD folder. So I'll just cd into there. And if you look at that, then we can cd into the bin. And if you look at that, you can see that's the executable that runs the CFD program, and so that's what I'm just setting in this SU2 CFD and then the path export. To exit and save this file, you can look down here. It says exit. There's no save here, but if you press exit, this caret is control, so we can press Control X, and then you can see save modified buffer, and then we're going to just type the letter Y. And then it says file name to write, and we're going to just press enter, and that overwrites it. So now we have, if we go back into that file, you can see if I go all the way down to the bottom, it has now saved all these, all our changes, and again I can press Control X to get out of there. And then lastly, to reload the bashrc file, we can type in source space tilde dash dot bashrc, press enter, and that reloads it. So that's it. That's how you install SU2. And then just as a little example to show you how it works, so let me just open up a new terminal, maximize it, and then I'm going to go to where I store all my stuff, and that's in this Linux shared folder, which shares between Windows and Linux, so I can move stuff back and forth. And if I go into there, we can go into YouTube, and then I can go into /shock. And then in here, you can see that there are a couple of different files. There's an SU2 file, that's the mesh file, and then there's also the .cfg file, and that's the configuration file. You just need one of each. I have 3 of these just because I run a few different cases. And so the way that you can run SU2 is just type in SU2 CFD space, and then the name of the configuration file, so in this case os_v5.cfg. You press enter, it'll start iterating through. Once it converges, you can open up the solution file depending on what you set in your configuration file. I have it set to output a Paraview file or .vtk, but you can also have it set to output to TechPlotter, whatever you want. But that's for another video. This just shows you how this will run, how you can run SU2 after you've installed it. Thanks for watching.